We are live, and it says we're rolling. Let's do this again then for another day. This one is January the 16th, and whatever year you happen to be watching this, it's the same January 16th and a celebration of some not just ninjas that were born on this day. So we're celebrating. Alexa off. We're in the year I'm making this, we have this. We used to call it AI, but the Alexa was made way before what we think of as AI now, which is the language learning models such as Chat GPT, Grok, um, Gemini, so forth, all kinds. You can check out how I've been using uh, AI in a few different ways, some to make videos, which you'll see on this channel, some to make music. There's a cool country song um, that I made from basically concept to like final version of the entire song. Some people aren't aware you can do that, including like all the instrumentals, all the lyrics, all the vocals. They're put in there. I used an app called Music GPT. Is really cool. So much more I'd like to do with that. Limited time, but so much more. If you have always wanted to make music now, you can, even if you're not a musician. Uh, if you just have things that you like about music, genres, or lyrics, see what comes up from your imagination with something like this. This light is right by my eyeball. Um, See what you can come up with Music GPT. And on our page, you can see this example of it. It's called, I think it's called The Best Friend Song. Or no, it's called Put You on a Fish. We're going to put you on a fish. And that's a cool country song. And like I said, from the concept of the song to the lyrics to the final version that you can see on there right now, in one of the videos, if you go to the channel page, all of that within about 15 minutes. It's pretty remarkable. All right, so today, let's get into it now. And we're gonna find out who the headliner of all the people that were born on this very same day together. Well, they weren't born together, but if you look back, if you're looking for like, okay, what can we say that's like kind of an interesting about any day? We take a look at, oh my God, the Capricorns that were born this month and this day specifically today. So we're gonna first start out with a few and talk about what their accomplishments are. They were not just something, they were a ninja, they were developing some kind of ninja skills towards something else, and that gave them this this advanced level of notoriety that's gonna continue to God knows how long. Some of them damn near eternity. So let's get into it, and we're gonna find out who the headliner is. The rest of them are all in chronological order. And we're gonna start with the little hook that they give me to read here. And that is that January 16th is a Builder's Day. We're gonna look at hand tools, tire treads, movie monsters, ice machines, melodies, and timeless voices with Hall of Fame consistency, and one headliner that proved that history can rhyme and can spit bars. Different centuries, same instinct. You notice what is broken or being ignored, and you make that thing better through your hard work, determination, and discipline. Let's check it out. We start with 1757, Salem, Massachusetts. A master wood carver named Samuel McIntyre. Now, he was a wood carver by trade, but now, even though he worked back in the 1700s, you will still see the architecture that he defined, basically, throughout Massachusetts, especially in this area of Salem. This architectural style became known as the Federal style homes. and he apprenticed. He worked for what I read was the America's first millionaire hired him when he was a wood carver. He taught himself architecture by looking at by reading books and trying it out himself. He had a little workshop where he designed small models of things, and then he turned those into, you know, homes for the extended family of like I said, that millionaire that hired him. And then all of a sudden people started seeing that and say, hey, can you build me one of those freaking their houses? And now still today, you can go cruise around in the Chestnut District, I think they call it, in Salem, Massachusetts, and see those federal style buildings. Let's see, they're very symmetrical. You'll see smokestacks on top, and very, you would call them blocky, but in a very elegant way. And his quote was that beauty is discipline made visible. That is something pretty cool. Whether you're a dancer, a singer, beauty is discipline made visible. We're gonna go now to 1853. And we're going to Paris, France. Have you ever heard of Andre Michelin? Have you ever heard of a Michelin rated restaurant? Have you ever driven a car that has Michelin tires? Well, he was the co-founder of Michelin in a world that didn't really travel that far yet. Tires didn't sell if people stayed home. So he invented, guess what? Reasons to get in your car and go drive around. Isn't that amazing way to think about it? The Michelin Guide turned into an entire culture, and people would get in that car, use those Michelin tires, and go out to a Michelin rated restaurant. They cost a lot of money now. If you see somebody that has like a Michelin rating, a chef, hey, thanks for the little comments, folks. I see that. That's really appreciated. It's kind of far away for me to see the screen, so I can't really read the comments. And the last time I did this, most of the comments just said like, they were insulting. Let's just say that. So I'm gonna wait until there's like a lot of comments. I'll be like, hey, just on sheer quantity, one of those has got to be good. But I see somebody that said hello back, hola, in Espanol. As I said on the last video, we're still learning Spanish using that Duolingo app. So Andre Michelin gave us the cool Michelin rating restaurants. I don't think I've ever eaten at one, but I've seen the pictures, I've seen the way people talk about them, and I think it's just so cool that the level of detail that you're going to be studying if you're a chef, if you're a cook, if you're a restaurateur, and you are in that realm of like studying Michelin chefs. And sure, it's got probably this whole hierarchy, and maybe it is one of those things that had its moment, its fleeting moment of awesomeness, and now isn't anymore. Damn, we just went to 0. There's nobody watching right now. But we're going to continue on because that could go up to 1 or more. Michelin, Andre Michelin from Paris, France, he said, progress follows movement. That is his quote. We're going to go now from 1853 to 1893. From Paris, France to New York City. This woman named Ruth Rose was born. Well, she wasn't a woman when she was born. She was a girl. And she is a screenwriter of such an icon of films called King Kong. Now, if you're not from the United States, or if you're really young, maybe you never heard of King Kong, but that must have been a blockbuster movie, the likes of like we can't even relate to right now. I want to say that it was released in 1932, 1938, something like that. But she brought, it says she brought empathy to spectacle, insisting the monster be more than a roar for this. Now there was amazing, like, go back and watch this as a film, like uninterrupted. Go try to pull up that 1930s version of the original King Kong. It is remarkable. It will suck you in, regardless that it's black and white, regardless that it's in an older style. It's filmmaking, and she was the screenwriter of King Kong. And she changed cinema from doing that. It was fear with feeling, and that lasted longer because at the end, you know, I'm not going to give away the spoiler at the end, but there is some emotions you might experience. She gave that monster kind of a heart. So, and her, whoa, her quote is, "Even monsters deserve humanity." I like that. That's interesting. All right, now from New York City, we're going to go way out west to Utah. In 1901, a guy named Frank Zamboni, he made an invention. In the comments, if you know what invention Frank Zamboni from Utah made. Anyone? He eventually ended up calling it Zamboni. Or somebody did. He invented an ice resurfacing machine. When you get on ice skates and you go around the hockey rink or the skating rink, that thing gets chewed up and it gets rough, and every now and then they have to pull everybody off of that ice rink, and they drive around. This big truck comes out of there. It looks like a large forklift. It sits really high. You're driving this thing, you're sitting very high up, and it's gonna, I guess, melt a layer of ice and spray a thin, even layer of water over it. So right after the Zamboni leaves, the ice looks immaculate, beautiful, and even again, so you can get out there and do more skating or play more hockey on it. Now, I'm pretty sure at every hockey game when they do this, there's a song, and I wish I had like the rights to use this song or something. I don't know if they still do it. It's been a few years since I've been to a hockey game. If anybody knows, if you've been to a hockey game, do they still play this song? It says, I want to drive a Zamboni. I want to drive a Zamboni. You could probably have a lot of fun with that. All these things you do from it. You know, put famous local celebrities or sponsors, put sponsorships on that thing. Make it fun. From Frank Zamboni in 1901, we're going to go back to New York City. Oh my God, to 1909. I didn't know who this guy was, but I know what he created. Ralph Cooper, born in Harlem, New York, a legendary Apollo Theater MC. He understood the energy of a crowd and how to make people have a good time. He eventually invented amateur night at the Apollo. It's just bonkers fun. It's bonkers optimistic with the way that people in that theater, from what I've seen, seem to give people a chance to go and win them over, whether they're going to be a comedian, a dancer, a singer, a rapper, a magician, whatever. And there's people ready to go in that audience. They're not the type of audience that's going to sit there and watch and do a little golf clap. They're going to get wild if they don't like that performer. Boo! Get out of here! Get out of here! And I don't know when, at some point, there was like I don't think it was the MC. It was kind of like a helper guy that would escort that person off. Hey, sorry, the crowd booed you. You're out of here. And then you can tell when somebody's digging that act. It's cheers, and it seems like a pretty cool bond that is formed in the moment. That's unique. I don't know if anything else is like that. So Ralph Cooper, inventor of amateur night at the Apollo, and his quote is, "The room tells you what it needs." Yeah, the room tells you what it needs. He dug the room. From 1909, we're going to go to in New York, in Harlem. We're going to go to South Carolina. Catherine Anderson from South Carolina. Wait a minute, I read somewhere else that she was from, let's see, South Carolina. Marvelettes. Just don't want to be deceived by the AI. And who's the headliner today? Of all these people with these lasting legacies, who's going to be the chosen, not just Ninjas headliner for this particular calendar day? It remains to be seen, but we're getting there little by little. Where the hell is the first page? All right, we go to, and we're going to double check on Miss Catherine Anderson, because depending on how old you are, and I think even if you're young, even if you're 20, even if you're 30 years old, teens, I think that you must be required to go back through like the different decades of music, listen to music from the 40s, 50s, 60s. It sheds light on the different mindsets that just in the past 50 or 60 years, that culture has had, and the different things that were celebrated, the different ways that art was made, the different types of enjoyment of life. You need to know, I remember as a young kid, somehow when I was in the 4th or 5th grade, living in New Jersey, there was a kid that hit that interest in music about the same time I did. And we would just love like 1950s, even some 40s music. I mean, listen to it over and over again. Like oh my God, just laying down heads by the speaker and listening to every single, and if there's a lyric we're not sure what it was, make sure we know what it was. I don't remember doing a whole lot of dancing, like splish splash, I was taking a bath, but definitely listening to it and grooving to it. And then same thing for 60s, you know, maybe you get into the 70s, maybe you get into the 80s where it starts getting a little more variety there. But even if you're young, you know, don't say like, I don't listen to old music. Hey, there's something that's very different about it. And you should take that in. But what I'm looking for is this. She's in here as one of the ninjas with a lasting legacy. And her name is Catherine Anderson. I'm just trying to confirm the birthplace, because I don't want to say the wrong thing just because freaking ChatGPT happened to get it twisted, which can happen. If you've ever had one of your AIs get something wrong, you know, they the good thing is they take full responsibility and accountability for it. They're like, oh, you're right, my fault, that was incorrect. So I'm double checking. But I will tell you that Catherine Anderson, yeah, this says born in Ann Arbor, Michigan, a Michigander, whereas ChatGPT, when pulled it up, said born in South Carolina. So let's go with the other born this day list and say that she was from the great state of Michigan. She was a founding member of the Marvelettes. You might remember a song like Wait a Minute, Mr. Postman, and other songs. Like, I'm talking about like just, you're gonna be happy. Marvelettes songs. Wait a Minute, Mr. Postman. Don't Mess with Bill. Someday, Some Way. Let's see. That's How Heartaches Are Made. It says they were the first act of Motown Records after the Miracles, after Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. But please, Mr. Postman, Don't Mess with Bill. The voice that the Marvelettes brought was, it was amazing. Confident, energetic. She turned harmonies into Motown history before even, I guess she did it very young, before even adulthood arrived. And they had a practice and a discipline. They went on tours and they just seemed like they loved the work. And her quote is, sing like it matters. Sing like it freaking matters. All right, from Catherine Anderson of the Marvelettes, we're going to Brooklyn, New York, 1947. Laura Schlesinger. Have you ever heard of Laura Schlesinger? Hey, thank you. Yeah. Somebody said your war on intelligence and children. That, yeah, we're having a war on intelligence here. Good comment though. That stings. All right, Laura Schlesinger. She was a psychologist turned into a radio force. She mixed clinical training with blunt accountability and refusing to cushion the consequences. I don't know if that type of approach is welcome to a lot of people right now. Imagine if your therapist told you like, this is your fault. What are you gonna do about it? Instead of like, yeah, absolutely. You should take a day off. You should take a week off. Hey, take it easy on yourself. I think we need a little bit of both of that. But it was really interesting for her to listen to people, and then they might get off the air, and then she would answer what their issue was, to the point of like, I mean, I remember people crying. Oh my God, I can't believe you said that, but you're so right. You're so right. Anyway, she became an iconic radio personality named Dr. Laura. And it says she's still alive, and her quote is that choices matter. Now we're going to go to John Carpenter, born in New York also. He's a director of Halloween, The Thing, Escape from New York. He gave us scary films like Halloween. John Carpenter, he composed his own scores, which I don't think they're like on par with, some of the classical, like the John Williams or Hans Zimmer or anything like this, but he made these simple, haunting music to go along with some of his movies. He wanted to refuse to spend money unless he had to on these movies. I'm sure he got bigger budgets as time went on, but it's cool to know that he got grounded. That's one thing Hollywood and movie making does teach you that I learned a valuable lesson. I think was first instinct is when you have something that has to be solved. Let's solve this, refusing to spend money, and if we can't solve it, then we see what money we have to spend, and sometimes that leads to like really cool creative moments. So John Carpenter, he gave us Halloween. His quote is, "Less is scarier." Yeah, less is scarier. Right now, like the movies that are supposed to have like some scary villain or monster, it's like it's not less, it's like way more. Like how large can these villains get? How scary? But back then, just you're not going to show the villain a whole lot, and less is scarier. All right, after we almost down to the headliner now, almost down. We're going to go to 1959, Ibadan, Nigeria. This, born in Nigeria, but a British vocalist named Sade. Are there any Sade fans? Talked about music earlier. Go put in Sade and just listen to anything that comes up, because that is a groove. There's nothing. I don't know if there's anybody else who can get that vibe and that feel, that perfect, like classy, smooth, like sensual, feel good vibe of that Sade gave. Like, let's see, Smooth Operator, Soldier of Love. What's some other ones? I can't think of them. Just search Sade, and it's amazing. So she studied fashion design. It says she chose restraint in a lot of things she did over noise, and you can tell because it's not like these big complex things. It's just an amazing vibe. She released very rarely. She became known for that, but every time she did, the world was ready for it, and it was usually very well received. What's the point of going live? It's so dumb. Because I want to go live. That's what I'm doing. You don't see the reason. But thank you for getting on there, trying it out. If it's not your thing now, that's what we're working on. We're working on it. After Sade, she said, her quote was, "Slow can still be powerful." And I'll tell you the other reason for that commenter. Thank you for your comment. What's the point of going live? The point of going live is I don't get paid anything for this. It's so I get paid from other things that take a lot of time, and I don't have a whole lot of time to like make this video, like work on the production value, do the editing, or pay somebody to edit and then post it right now. I'd love to do that, but that's been taking a long time. So you didn't see a whole lot of posts from the channel. And so I kept on over the past year thinking, how can we speed this up? How can I speed this up so I can actually do it, but still get on the road? Because right now, my revenue is coming only from the ride share that I'm doing, the driving, the Uber, the Lyft, things like that, that I have to get on the road and go do right now. And you'll see videos with some of those customers and those things on the channel. But the reason going live is because it's a different type of experience that doesn't require me to go on there and edit. And it doesn't, if I don't do it live, if I screw up and say something stupid, pause too long, something like that, I have to go, I'll stop it and say, damn, I gotta start that again, or edit it. And then I never get around to it. There's just no time. Do you have kids? Anybody? I mean, you must not have kids if you think there's just so much time that you can go edit. So that's one of the reasons. So that's why I really appreciate this ability to just click go. And then then I'm like, within 5 minutes of this, I'm going to be, within 5 minutes, I got to be on the road. So thank you for, if you haven't done, subscribing, leaving a comment that is, we're going to get a good comment eventually. And I don't know if the comments are seen later or just when you are live, but so much appreciated that you gave it a shot. After Sade, we're gonna hit the Dominican Republic, the DR, Santo Domingo, 1980, Albert Pujols, one of baseball's most consistent hitters ever, the fourth guy ever to get 700 ding-dongs in one career. 700 home runs is, I mean, just a super powerful, super good hitter. I think he was an MVP, a National League MVP for the St. Louis Cardinals, like either 2 or 3 times, which is just saying something, and just such a ferocious hitter. I mean, scared the hell out of pitchers. Like, he's taking you over the yard with a high likelihood. And his quote is, "Consistency builds legends." Yeah, dude, he's a legend because he was consistent. That brings us to our last, also in 1980, but not in Dominican Republic, in New York City. This is the headliner, the moment you've all been waiting for. Intentionally last on this list, Lin-Manuel Miranda, born in New York City. It says, I'm not going to verify that because I don't have time. Leave a comment if you know that's true. Creator of the musical Hamilton, which I think is one of the greatest feats of humanity. I love it. When this musical first came out, I think for 2 or 3 years, I have a lot of brothers and sisters, but 2 of my sisters told me, hey, you got to go listen to Hamilton, the soundtrack. It's really good. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. It's about Alexander Hamilton. Yeah, like the rap. It's like rap about like Hamilton. It seems pretty interesting. I'll get around to that. And then like 2 years went by. I still didn't do it. And then when I finally did, I'm washing laundry or something like that, listening to the soundtrack on my phone, and I was amazed. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" I remember texting one of my sisters and saying, "Why didn't you tell me that I needed to listen to this? You should." She was like, "I did tell you need to listen to it. I told you it's really good." I was like, "No, but you should have made sure I listened to it. Like, you should have followed up. That's on you." So anyway, that's how good I thought it was. Like, if you haven't, you should go listen to that soundtrack, watch the play. Well, of course, I'd love to go in person, but when you got used to the like original original cast, I guess you would say, the original Broadway cast, yeah, the others are probably amazingly talented and you love it too. So go see that too. But yeah, I'm just in love with that first original cast. And one of the impressive things was how much work, the ninja skills that he built up, um, with how much time it must have taken. And this was before AI. Right now, you could probably say, take this moment, the American Revolution time period, and turn it into 10 rap songs with these following characters. You could probably do that. I think he had to take 10 years reading this biography of Alexander Hamilton and then working on the rest of that. Now he had already had some huge success and awesome work on other musicals, so his musical ability was there. His love for hip hop and rap was there. So now he is combining history, American ingenuity, and with his own unique style, and delivering it in a way that's just, hey, you can say, hey, there's inconsistencies with that story. You know what you can do with that? You can take that and you can just hold your comments, because of course there's inconsistencies with the story. The thing is, he delivered like this amazing work. It's so entertaining, and it makes you dive into ideas, especially of the American creation, the creation of the United States, in such a way that I don't think is possible any other way. So I'm just amazed with it. He is the headliner, born in 1980. Definitely Tony Awards, Pulitzer Prize, a whole generation of people probably learning history, rapping it, wanting to be part of things like that, and saying that, like, hey, this story, this message, it can transcend a lot of things, and anybody can tell any story. It just, that's one of the main values of this brand that we love, is that anybody can tell any story, and use your creativity, your curiosity, your passion, the gifts you already have, the gifts you want to have, in order to do that. So damn, this is a headliner for absolute sure. His quotes are, write your way out. See a problem? Write your way out of it. And from the play, history has its eyes on you. And another thing he said, I'm just a storyteller with a beat. Yeah, Hamilton, nonstop. Well, this day reminds us that innovation often starts by noticing what everybody else accepts and deciding it can be better. So you do that same thing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And I'll see you on the next one.